And we are back on the Zero Hour. With us now is Rich Fiesta, who is Executive Director of the Alliance for Retired Americans. Rich, thanks so much for being with us. Good to have you.
Yeah, great to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to talk to you. We're constantly getting different ideas from the Republicans on how to change the retirement experience, and they're often unpleasant surprises, but I wanted to get your thoughts on the 4-point plan proposed by Marco Rubio.
Yes, Senator Rubio seems to be at it again, that when he ran for the Senate in 2010, he had a bunch of out-of-touch ideas on how to quote-unquote save Social Security, which is code words for making everybody work longer, pay more, and get less. And he did it again Wednesday at the National Press Club in a speech, too, where he sounded like he was the Senate version of Paul Ryan.
And why do you say that? I mean, his plan seems designed to sound reasonable. Eliminate the retirement earnings test, open up government retirement plans to all Americans. You know, it's the kind of thing that you'd think polls well or gets a good gut reaction. So tell us what's really buried in this that makes it Paul Ryan style, draconian.
That's right. That's the nice shiny thing on the patina on the outside of the object. That once you scratch through it, you find a lot of lead in there.
Right.
It's the same old idea that Ryan and quite a number of these people who want to dismantle Social Security Medicare come out with saying, "Oh, don't worry if you're over 55, you have nothing to fear." But Rubio would raise the retirement age, claiming, for example, that Americans are living longer, when in fact it's only a small part of the Americans, also known as the very wealthy, have had a longer life expectancy, and people who need Social Security most, lower and middle income people, basically have the same life expectancies that they did in the 1950s and 60s. So he's asking them to work longer before they can collect benefits, which in and of itself, by its own definition, is a benefit cut. And that's just
right.
One thing he wants to do.
And it's probably the most important thing, right? I mean, I think that if you're talking about raising the retirement age to 70, because rich people are living longer than people who have to wait tables or do work in a warehouse or do other things where they're on their feet all day, have to work longer is a pretty brutal solution. It probably, I would say, drowns out the others, which are, I guess, when you scratch them, they're probably not as good as they might sound to the untrained ear. For example, opening government retirement plans to all Americans. How substantive is that really, and what does that really do?
Well, the federal government for federal workers has its own version of a 401k program, and it looks like he would just somehow allow all Americans to participate in it, assuming that's his plan. He doesn't have legislative language yet. But the underlying question is, RJ, do people have enough money to save in the first place for retirement? You know, people's real wages in this country have actually been declining since 1980. So do you have enough to save, even if you have a pretty simple retirement plan to save into? So I think that's still a very basic question.
You know, I think that's such a great point, because so many of these alternative plans involve voluntary savings programs for an American middle class that's living paycheck to paycheck. I think of the studies that show that large percentages of families that would lose everything if they missed more than 2 paychecks in a row or whatever. And some people can't pay their bills as it is. So I think that that's an enormously important point. And I think that the idea, as you know, Rich, as I think you know, I have strong opinions about some of these things myself, including means-testing Social Security, which is, I can tell you what I think, but I'm interested in what you think. This is, once again, a part of the plan, and what's your reaction to that?
Yeah, it's another way, RJ, just to cut benefits. Social Security's great leveler, so to speak, what makes it really a vital core of our democracy and both our economic and social life, is that everyone pays in according to their wages, that we pay in, our employers pay in, and everyone receives benefits according to what they paid in, regardless of their outside income. You know, if they inherited property and the property went up and that's included on your income, that shouldn't count, much like any other savings that you may have as well. So it's a very simple system where the benefits are paid on what you paid in, regardless of what else you're making. That is the whole basic nature of social insurance. And he wants to, basically turn it with extra means testing, so to speak, into some sort of, some people call it a welfare program, if it would no longer be social insurance, but it undercuts the basic tenet that you get in benefits according to what you paid in during your working life.
That's such a great point, because the operative word here is insurance. If I have a car accident, after 20 years of paying my car insurance, I don't want to be told, oh, first we have to look and see how much money you make. No, I paid the insurance, now fix my car, right? So I couldn't agree with that more. We've got about a minute left. Is there any other point you want to make on this before we wrap up?
Sure. Thanks, RJ. Again, trotting out old ideas and wrapping one or two kind of shiny objects like buying into or participating into the federal thrift saving plan still does not get away from the core issue that Marco Rubio and a number of other people who, call themselves new thinkers on these social insurance issues are just retreading worn and old ideas that do nothing except cut people's benefits and make them work longer. No question about that.
Well, I think that's a great summary. I have a feeling in the next 2 years we're going to hear a lot more repackaging of old ideas like this. So thanks for coming on and helping us what would be the word, debunk them. So Rich Fiesta, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, RJ. Great being with you.
You bet. And we will be right back after this. I'm Richard RJ Eskow, and this is The Zero.